From the outside, I had what every girl dreamed of, a charming boyfriend who cooked, complimented, and called me his future. Aaron was the kind of man who knew how to speak love like a second language. And I was fluent in believing him. I was Olivia, a 27-year-old graphic designer who believed in soft mornings, Sunday coffee, and that love could weather any storm. Aaron made it feel real until he didn't. We were dating for over 2 years. Talks of a future, potential baby names, merging bank accounts, all of it felt certain. Then, on an otherwise normal Thursday afternoon, Aaron shattered the illusion. We were sitting at my kitchen island. He had just finished eating, and I could sense something off. His eyes didn't meet mine. "I've been thinking," he began, twirling the spoon in his coffee. "You're not wife material, Liv." I froze. "What?" I laughed awkwardly, hoping this was some bad joke. He looked up. "You're too intense. Too emotional. You take things personally. I need someone who's more laid back." I remember my heart plummeting like it had lost its wings. He left that night. No fight, no drama. Just a few final words, "You'll thank me one day." But I didn't. I cried for days. I questioned everything, my personality, my worth, even my future. But the real betrayal hadn't even begun yet. Have you ever been told you're not enough by someone who once claimed to love you? Comment that below and keep watching, this one's personal. 2 months passed. I was slowly piecing my heart back together when my younger sister, Lily, came home from college for the summer. We were always close, giggling under the covers, sharing secrets, and swapping stories. So when she told me about a mystery guy she had been seeing, I was curious, genuinely happy for her. "He's smart, mature, and totally different from college boys," she gushed. She never said his name. And I never pushed. Until one day, I saw his car parked in our driveway. I knew that car. The dent on the left side, the rust along the bumper, unmistakable. "Aaron." I stood frozen at the window as Lily ran outside to greet him. They kissed. I felt like vomiting. For weeks, I kept my silence. I watched them grow closer, act cute, take selfies, while my insides were silently rotting from betrayal. He knew Lily was my sister. She even mentioned me often. That meant Aaron had chosen her intentionally. This wasn't an accident. This was personal. You think that's betrayal? Just wait, the knife goes deeper. The breaking point came during our family's annual summer barbecue, a tradition we held every July. Everyone was there, aunts, uncles, cousins. And Lily, with Aaron by her side. My mother had no idea he was my ex. Neither did most of the family. Only I watched it all unfold, alone in my rage. Then, in the middle of dinner, Aaron stood on the patio table with a ring box. "Lily," he announced, holding her hand, "from the moment I met you, I knew you were the one. Will you marry me?" The world stopped spinning. Everyone cheered, except me. I locked eyes with Lily, who looked shocked but overjoyed. She never once looked at me. Not once. The betrayal had teeth. And it had just sunk into my bones. I didn't cry this time. I planned. She took my ex. He took my dignity. But I still had one thing left, vengeance. I spent the next few days digging. I knew Aaron had secrets. Financial ones. And emotional ones. First, I created a burner Instagram account and followed Lily. Through her stories, I traced Aaron's patterns, habits, and location. Second, I contacted Emily, Aaron's ex before me. We'd never spoken, but I remembered her name from a random mail he received once. Emily was more than willing to share. Turns out, Aaron had a habit of juggling women. He'd even proposed to another girl once, and ghosted her after withdrawing from their joint savings. I gathered everything, texts, photos, even bank transaction screenshots Emily still had. Enough dirt to burn him down. But revenge is best served slowly. So I played along. I smiled at family dinners. I congratulated them publicly. I even offered to help with wedding planning. But underneath the sweetness was venom. It's not about breaking hearts anymore. It's about breaking facades. The engagement party was the perfect stage. Family. Friends. A live band. And a digital photo slideshow. I asked to handle it. Told Lily it would be my gift. Everyone watched, smiling, as photos of Lily and Aaron played to romantic music. Then, the photos glitched. Suddenly, an image popped up, Aaron with another woman. Then another, him kissing Emily. Then a bank transaction dated just before his proposal to Lily. Gasps erupted. The final slide? Do you still think I'm not wife material? Silence. Aaron stormed out, cursing. Lily stood in shock, eyes wide, hands trembling. I walked out calmly. Head high. Revenge complete. They broke me, but I rebuilt myself sharper. Would you have done the same? The aftermath was like a silent storm. People were whispering, unsure whether to defend Aaron or console Lily. But for me, there was no satisfaction in the chaos. It wasn't the moment I'd been waiting for. The moment I wanted was colder. I stayed composed, distant. I had everything I needed to ensure that Aaron would never forget what he'd done, not just to me, but to the women he'd casually destroyed. I spent the next few days making sure every detail of my plan was executed. Aaron would never suspect a thing. He thought I was some fragile ex who would disappear into the background. He was wrong. I had Emily send me the rest of Aaron's bank records. The accounts where he'd been funneling money, his secret investments, the money he'd promised to pay back to previous girlfriends. It was a goldmine. I also made sure to keep track of his infidelity, gathering texts, receipts, and conversations. Aaron had built a life on lies, and I had a front-row seat to it all. But I needed a witness. A firm anchor to make the story undeniable. Enter my best friend, Tara. I called her to the side at the family event, asked her to help me with something personal. She had always hated Aaron for how he'd treated me. She was more than willing to assist. Tara made copies of the crucial financial documents I'd gathered, ensuring that every transaction Aaron had made was logged, cross-referenced, and ready for distribution. We also planned a backup, a carefully worded email sent to Aaron's colleagues and family members. I wasn't going to destroy him in a dramatic, emotional confrontation. No. My revenge was going to be surgical, calculated, and irrevocable. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can do is plan in silence. What would you do if you had the power to destroy someone who betrayed you? Stay tuned to find out what happens next. The day before Lily's wedding, I did something most would consider unforgivable. I sent the email to every single person Aaron knew. The subject line, "The man you trust is a fraud." The email was clear, precise, and methodical. It detailed every transgression Aaron had committed. The stolen funds. The lies. The manipulations. The betrayal. I didn't just accuse him of one crime. I listed a dozen. Each one meticulously documented, with receipts and screenshots to match. Each piece of evidence connected, undeniable. Aaron wasn't just a heartbreaker, he was a con artist. A man who had taken advantage of every person who trusted him, including Lily, who had no idea she was about to marry a man whose promises were as empty as his conscience. I made sure the email reached all of his business partners, his exes, and every one of his family members. I made sure they knew the truth, that the man who'd been selling them love, trust, and loyalty was a fraud. Then, I sat back and waited. It didn't take long for the first text to arrive. From my mother. Then my aunts. Then Tara. They were all asking the same thing, is this true? It was true. Every word. By the time the wedding ceremony arrived, the damage was already done. His family was in uproar, his business was in shambles, and Lily was walking into the biggest heartbreak of her life. But she didn't know yet. Revenge is sweeter when it's perfectly timed. Do you think Aaron will be able to repair the damage, or is it too late? Keep watching as the truth unravels. Lily's wedding day arrived, and everything felt off. The decor was perfect. The venue was beautiful. Guests were sipping champagne, chatting, unaware of the storm that was about to hit. As she walked down the aisle, I saw it. The look in Aaron's eyes. A blend of desperation, guilt, and denial. He was a man who knew his world was crashing around him, but still thought he could salvage it. Still thought he could fake his way through it. I couldn't let that happen. Just as Lily said her vows and the officiant began the pronouncement, I stood up. The room froze. I'm sorry, but there's something you all need to know about Aaron, I said, my voice cutting through the silence like a sharp blade. The room's attention turned to me. I held up my phone. I didn't need to say anything else. The video I played was the final piece of my revenge. It was footage of Aaron with another woman, someone he had been with while he was dating Lily. It was intimate. It was raw. And it was damning. The entire room gasped. Lily's eyes widened as she watched Aaron's betrayal play out on the screen. Her wedding dress, once a symbol of her fairy tale, suddenly felt like a shroud. Aaron stood there, speechless. His face drained of color. His hands shook as he tried to reach for the phone. But I didn't give him the chance. Did you think I wouldn't find out? I asked, my voice steady but laced with ice. The crowd murmured. Lily looked back at Aaron, her face crumpling in disbelief. She didn't need to hear anything more. The truth had been laid bare. Aaron tried to speak, to apologize, to beg for forgiveness, but it was too late. The damage was done. He was exposed. I left before anyone could confront me. I didn't need to see their reactions. I had already taken my revenge. I had already won. What happens when you expose a lie at the worst possible moment? Will Aaron beg for forgiveness, or will it be too late? Find out in the next part of this devastating story. The days that followed were a blur. The fallout was everywhere. Aaron's reputation was destroyed. His business collapsed. He tried to salvage his relationships, but the damage was irreversible. Every person who had trusted him now knew the truth. Lily, too, was left picking up the pieces of her broken heart. The wedding had been cancelled. The guests had scattered. My sister, the girl who had once been my closest ally, was now lost in a sea of betrayal. She texted me, asking for answers. She begged for forgiveness. I didn't respond. Not yet. Aaron tried reaching out, too. He sent messages. He called. But I ignored them. He had no place in my life anymore. No apology could ever erase what he had done. Sometimes the truth is far worse than the lie. How will Aaron face the consequences of his actions? The answer is coming soon. Don't miss the final part of this gripping journey. Months later, Lily finally reached out again. This time, it was different. She wasn't angry. She wasn't blaming me. She was broken. And she needed closure. We met at a quiet cafe. She looked tired, worn down by the reality of what had happened. I never saw it. I never saw him for what he truly was, Lily whispered, tears falling. But you knew. I didn't answer right away. I needed her to understand. She had to see that her love for Aaron had been just as much a fantasy as my own. I wasn't just angry at Aaron, I said quietly. I was angry at myself. For believing in him, for putting my trust in a man who didn't deserve it. But you. You're my sister, and I should have protected you. Lily nodded, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. I'm sorry, Liv. I took a deep breath. Don't apologize. You weren't the one who betrayed me. Revenge can bring justice, but what happens when the ones you love become victims of your actions? Stay tuned to see the unexpected conclusion and how these sisters rebuild their lives. I walked away from that meeting with a sense of calm. I had done what I needed to do. I had taken back control, but more importantly, I had built a new version of myself, stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. In the end, I learned that revenge wasn't about seeking satisfaction. It was about regaining your power, your dignity. And in that moment, I knew that nothing Aaron or anyone else could ever do would define me. I had reclaimed my narrative. The past may have shaped us, but it doesn't define us. Sometimes, the hardest thing to do is let go of revenge and choose to move forward. What would you do if you had the chance to start over? Let us know in the comments. Is revenge ever truly worth it? Or is it a double-edged sword? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more emotional, suspenseful stories like this one. If you've ever experienced betrayal, what did you do? Was forgiveness possible, or did you choose to take matters into your own hands? Share your story with us, we want to hear from you.